Bob, go get your meat from White Feather Meats. You're not the first person to say that. I looked that up. I have a friend,
I said
John.
that to you months ago.
Yeah, and John from Florida, who sometimes joins us on these here. Uh, he wants to come up and visit, and when he does, he wants to go there because he watches the Bearded Butchers on YouTube.
Yep.
And I just looked it up here, and it says that it's in Creston, Ohio, and that's about enough 45 minutes to my west. Actually, I used to do work for a guy whose office was out of Creston, so yeah, I should go check it out.
So you're talking bearded butchers?
The
Yeah.
Bearded Butchers, yep.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, they're right here in down the street from me.
When I was younger, I would have loved to learn how to cut meat from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you get your meat from White Feather Meats? No, I get so I get my meat from two sources. One is Sam's Club, and the other one over here in Mogador, there's a place called Duma's Meats or Duma Meats. And that's like it's a local rancher, and it's like a network of ranchers, and you can get everything like bison, elk, venison, beef hot dogs, beef bacon, beef of all sorts. And they make their own jerky, and it's a carnivore's paradise in there. And it's just almost all meat exclusively. And so that's the big hit around here is Dumas, and that's only like 20 minutes down the street.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
Dumas is
something
fantastic.
you mentioned. Beef bacon. That's something I'm gonna do on my next cows I butcher. I'm gonna see if my processor will make some beef bacon. I keep hearing about it, and I've never had it, and so I want to try it.
Yeah, I've had it a couple times, and yeah, it's pretty good. And these prices here are good. Like I'll share their screen. Let's see here, share screen, and oh, not arugula. There we go. Duma Meats. So yeah, this is Duma Meats website right away. They have a wonderful
Wow.
presentation.
That's sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meat market bundles, sides of beef. So that's what it looks like from there. But yeah, they got get over here on sides of beef and $4.79 a pound. Look at that. You can get a half a cow, $4.79 a pound. Tells you what you get though right there. You got
That's the way to
T-bones,
buy
quarter
it.
ounces. Yeah. And from what I've heard talking to other people on the internet and in these carnivore groups, that these prices are actually pretty darn good.
Oh, they're excellent.
Now,
Yep, grass
so
fed,
are,
$4.99 a pound.
you don't need to do a cut sheet?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, typically when you take when you're gonna buy half a cow or a quarter of a cow, you fill out a sheet of what you would want. If you're buying the front half or the back half, that you would tell them, well, I want so much in ground beef, and I'd like to get, so much in steaks if I could, and they try to accommodate.
Generally, if you're buying a half, you're getting a half of a side, so
Right,
they're split down the middle.
right,
Uh, I don't know. I haven't bought them that way. I would assume that if they don't already have them cut up, then you can request certain cuts and certain thicknesses on your steaks. And I'm just assuming on that. I know when I have one processed, uh, I can request everything. And so,
right.
like with mine, my steaks are going to be an inch and a half thick.
Yep.
Uh, any fat that is not my burger is going to be a 70-30 mix. Any fat that is left over that is not put in the burger, whether it's suet, whether it's trimmings, I get that fat back because I'm going to make tallow out of it, and
Exactly.
I even get the bones back. I get the bones
Nice.
back, because I want bone broth, I want bone marrow, and whatever's left over goes to my dogs, and
There
they
you go.
certainly appreciate that. Uh, so you know, that's what I love about raising my own is I can get everything custom done. They'll do
Now
it
I got a
exactly how I
question.
want it.
I got a question for you because what about the tongue?
I don't do tongue. I don't, down here it's lingua. I don't care for it.
Right.
And it's a texture
Oh,
thing for me. I just
oh
don't.
no, no. Oh my gosh. Jeff. I went I went to Korean barbecue and I ordered lingua last night and I have to say there's nothing it's like chipped beef. There's no texture whatsoever. If it's sliced thin, you put beef belly down to give it a nice oily coating. Then you put the tongue on top and let that barbecue on that Korean barbecue. Oh my gosh, there's nothing. It's full of beef flavor.
It's one of those things that somebody's going to have to cook it for me right, because I just don't know how to do it. And the only time I've had it, it was from some Mexicans down here. I tried it,
Uh-huh.
some lingua tacos, and I ate it just because I ordered it, but I did not care for the texture.
I cook it
Gotcha.
in a pot.
And there's a lot of things now, and I won't turn down getting the tongue. Uh, Everything that I'm not willing to eat on a cow or any animal will go to my dogs,
Mm-hmm.
because I feed my dogs carnivore. And
Oh,
we don't hardly waste nothing at all. And it's just like when I take a deer, you know, when I'm through deboning that deer, they get the whole carcass, and they absolutely love it.
I've had
nice.
lengua and a taco last year when we went to Florida, and I thought it was pretty good. So,
Yeah,
so
I'm
yeah,
just
going
not a
back to
fan
this here.
of the texture of what I had.
Come on,
Yeah,
Milton.
yeah. This says that the average thickness is a 1 inch for the steaks. So you get 6 to 8 T-bone, 6 to 8 porterhouses, 6 to 8 sirloins.
Yeah, Milton.
Yeah,
Milton.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
they're already pre-cutting it.
Beef
They're
extra
giving you what an
tender,
average
untrimmed.
is. They're saying an average of a side is going to be X amount of pounds. So they're giving you X amount of pounds of meat with the approximate, amount of this, how many steaks you would get out of this, and how much
Any,
hamburger you'd get out of this.
yeah.
So it doesn't sound like you can custom order it.
And it says anything you don't use goes into the hamburger. So that would be probably your organs that way.
I
Sure.
would. The only burger I eat is brisket now. Ground up brisket. That's the only way I eat.
All right. One caution eating out. Watch the cheese. It might be a seed oil product like Velveeta. Ask the cooks.
True.
That is true.
Velveeta's not cheese.
Nope.
It's not.
Cheese. Neither is
It's a
American cheese at
cheese
your
food
fast food
product.
restaurant. Yeah. It's a cheese type thing. Cheese like
Cheese product.
Yeah, they call it cheese product.
Yeah. This is my story. It says when traveling going forward, I plan on doing an extended fast. There you go.
That works too.
Engine cooking.
Yep. Yeah.
Bad
All right.
kitty.
Or just eat it cold. Target Prime Rib has
There
no
you go.
problem with cold bacon and cold burger patties.
Sure
That's
that.
it.
All right.
Milton, what are you doing?
Okay. It's the 7 P's, according to Michael. We have proper previous planning prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
teach their own.
Yeah, catching up here. We're about 30 minutes behind on the chat. Brenda from Facebook. What are y'all's opinions on an air fryer? I use them.
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
No,
My
I don't
wife
have one
uses
because
one.
I've already got too many kitchen gadgets and my house is too small. Maybe in my next house I'll buy one if I've got a big enough kitchen. But that's the only reason. If I had one, I'd use it.
I use them. Not often. Like I know people who they've got this method of taking a steak from frozen to medium rare by putting it frozen in the air fryer
Or on the
putting it on
engine.
for, I can't remember the time, 8 minutes, 14 minutes, something like that. I tried that, hated it. I didn't like it. But I had made like I've put beef into balls, and sometimes I'll put a cube of cheese in the middle and then put the beef around it, so it's got cheese in the center. I put that in the air fryer and made it till it was crisp, and then you bite into that and it's got a cheesy center. And so I've made a carnivore meal using that before.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think it's a useful product. I'm still more of a cast iron pan or fire up the grill kind of guy for the most part.
Mhm.
I will grill if it rain or shine. It's air fryer. You can. I mean, that's just the gadget I don't use. I tried the steak, and from frozen to whatever, and I didn't care for it. I didn't like the texture. It's got to be off the grill.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah, I'm a wood fire or put it on my smoker kind of guy.
Or on the engine.
Yeah, or on the engine.
There you go.
All right. Oh, thank you, Brenda from Facebook, for hopping on and participating. I'm going to skip to your next question here, and maybe Jeff would be able to answer this one. Are there any keto or carnivore conventions in Texas?
Okay, I don't know of any keto conventions. We had one down in Austin not too long ago. There was a carnivore convention. I don't know of any coming up anytime soon. I know over on Kiltz's Tribe, Aaliyah has asked, where would we like to have the next one at? And I suggested Fort Worth, Texas, because that would put it closer to me. But right now, I don't know of anything going on in Texas.
So in May of 2026, there's the low carb cruise. Every year there's a low carb cruise. So low carb cruise 2026 is going to be at the Royal Caribbean International Cruise Terminal in Galveston, Texas. And you can go to lowcarbcruise.com to get more information on that. So usually, obviously there's a bunch of keto carnivores that are going to be on that cruise, and usually some noteworthy guest speakers and stuff like that as well.
You say it's going to be 2026?
That's May of 2026. Yeah.
By golly, I might just look that up.
Yeah. So that would be lowcarbcruise.com. I'll eventually have it in the calendar over on Carnivore Talk. Let's see here. Going back here, Carnivore Muscle. Hey. Glad you could join us.
Mm-hmm.
Papa Carnivore says, I did Atkins in 2002 and lost a lot of weight. Started going to the gym, but it allowed veggies and I didn't eat enough fat. Got hemorrhoid surgery. It was terrible. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. That's, you know what? That is another problem with it too, is because a lot of us go into that. And even though he said, enjoy all the butter you want, most of us still had that branded in our brains about being low fat, and even a lot of people who try and do carnivore, they think they need to eat lean meat, and then they don't
when
find
I
much
did
success as a
Atkins,
result.
when I did Atkins, my wife was concerned about it because we were all brainwashed. And so when I started Atkins, I did a lean protein Atkins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Atkins got the weight down, but it didn't heal like carnivore.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I know a lot of people who like low carb works, keto works, animal-based works. Hell, vegetarian diet and the sugar diet works,
Yes, it does.
So, but you can lose weight on just about any diet, but that healing aspect of it is a good point to bring up. Is there's a lot of individuals who are keto and even doing keto right, just half their plate fatty meat, half their plate low carb veg, and they're losing weight, but something's just not quite what they wanted to see or hope to experience or heal, and then they finally get rid of those last few veggies, and then everything changes. So some people don't have to take that leap. Other people, that's what's holding them back. And once they make that leap and go strict carnivore, that's when they experience some healing. So there's a lot of truth to that. Depending on you and your personal physiology and what you may have that's wrong with you that needs healing. So, Jonathan here, I may fall asleep. Apologies. No, can't have that.
Middle of the night for him.
Where's he from?
UK.
England.
UK. Oh, yeah. All right. So if it's 9:25 here, what's that? 5 hours ahead?
Probably about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 1 o'clock to 1:30, 2:30, something like that. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. In that case, I don't blame you. Go ahead and doze off. All right. Hit the like button first and leave this on.
There you go.
I had a hemorrhoidectomy surgery, and it was the worst pain I ever had in my life. I stopped Atkins, went back to the SAD diet, and weight ballooned, became diabetic, high blood pressure, fatty liver.
I got something to say about that.
Go for it.
I knew Papa Carnivore was always a pain in the butt. No. No, I'm kidding. All kidding aside. When I was 18, let's see, 88, 21. When I was 21, I had my first job outside of the Navy. And because I went to the bathroom and I found blood on the toilet paper and it freaked me out. So I went to the doctor. I had hemorrhoids at the age of 21.
As young.
Yeah. And of course my boss, he laughed. I didn't care. But it scared me because I'm young and I didn't know what to expect. But I had hemorrhoids from the age of 21 up until I started carnivore.
Only thing I know.
Go ahead.
The only thing I know about hemorrhoids is the commercial for Preparation H.
Never used it.
That's all I remember. I've never had them.
Yeah, not fun.
Doesn't sound like it.
Rodney says, speaking of cheese, I saw Carrie Mann say on a recent video that if a carnivore is not feeling as good as they think they should or getting the results they want or weight loss is stalling, is usually dairy.
That's what we recommend.
Yeah,
Cutting
it
it
could
out.
be. Mm-hmm.
Every time somebody's stalling, they're having problems, or not feeling good, that's our first recommendation is cut out the dairy. Well, except for the butter, because generally butter is just straight fat anyways. But yeah, that's the first thing you go to is the dairy.
And there's good science behind that. So, milk by design is designed to fatten a young calf. And it is also a high fat product. So it's very energy dense. And so if you just don't need it, then yeah, you're just going to cause yourself a stall.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about dairy, it's not, are you talking about all dairy or just milk? Because I haven't drank milk since I was 20. But when I tried to do away with dairy, I wasn't doing as good as I normally did.
And I was the same way. I tried to get rid of cheese. I went off the cheese, and most people say, we were talking about like stool. Okay, so like if you feel constipated, eat more fat, and if you have more like diarrhea, and you want that to firm up, then eat less fat. So when I cut out cheese, actually, I had chronic diarrhea, and then when I brought cheese back in, it fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
So which according to that thinking, I should have had the opposite effect. So for me, cheese is kind of like a natural constipator, and I do all right, but again, I don't go overboard with it. I treat it like a condiment, and I used to go overboard with it though. I was making these cheesy foldovers for a while, and as Jeff calls them eggless omelets, but we were do 5-6 slices of provolone cheese. We'd put our toppings in the middle, and you'd let that burn to a brown, and you'd fold it in half, And I'm like, oh, this is delicious carnivore meal. You can make Philly steaks with it. You can make little pizzas with it, and it's all animal products. It turns out cheese is high in phosphorus, and I have stage 4 chronic kidney disease. So my phosphorus went through the roof, and my legs started itching so much that I scratched almost all the hair off my calves. And then found out that it was from the high phosphorus. So then I had to cut out any dark colored sodas, even the diet ones, because they're made with phosphoric acid. And I had to cut out the cheese for like 45 days until my phosphorus numbers dropped. So I personally have to be careful when it comes to cheese consumption because I have to watch my phosphorus intake.
For me, cheese is addictive.
Hmm.
I still love it. I still eat it. I don't drink milk. I will only use cream if I'm making, some carnivore ice cream. It's just going to be pure cream. But I do love cheese. And so I have to be careful with it. Now I'll go through stages where I start consuming too much of it and I'll have to back off for about 30 days, and then I can allow a little bit back in and I'm good for a couple of months, until it starts kicking in again. And right now, this week, I'm struggling to keep my weight up. I'm dropping too much. So I ate cheese today and I'll probably eat cheese again tomorrow, and I'll have cheese every day until my weight comes back up to where I think it ought to be.
What you got there, dinner?
You mean Milton the monster?
All right. Hey, Milton.
Milton looks totally unimpressed with us.
Well,
I like he's so cool. You could just toss him around like that and he doesn't care.
Nah, he's a good cat. All my cats are like this.
Nice. All right.
I think I'm good at having pets. Yeah.
I got 4 brand new barn cats out in the barn and they are wild.
Yeah, this guy was a wild. I mean, he was a feral cat that was in the street. But after a few weeks living with me, he turned into a pet.
Papa Carnivore says cheese caused his weight stall and hard cheese gave him horrific constipation. So I guess so. Maybe if I overconsumed it, the same thing would happen to me. So, but it's well documented that cheese can be a problem for people.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Enjoying the chat. Thank you. Yes, we are. And I tell you what, we just had for a brief moment 44 watching according to StreamYard here, and that is probably a record for us. So if you're hitting that like button, it must be doing something magical. So please hit that like button because I just looked up at the corner and I was impressed to see that. Very nice.
I attached my channel to it as well, so that might have helped.
Oh, are you streaming? You co-streaming?
Yeah, I went ahead and attached it. That might have caused it to jump up.
All right, yeah, maybe.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thanks for restreaming.
I don't have a lot of viewers, but I got the best. My subscribers and viewers are the best you'll find in the whole carnivore community.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, no, it's always a good time over on your channel, and in your Saturday chats for sure.
Hey, especially now with the new controversy, it'll just bring more people.
Yeah,
there you go.
The views, we're in it for the views.
It'll be like a talk show.
Papa
Jerry.
Now he eats some soft brie cheese occasionally, not much, and only as a treat, sometimes with fresh berries. All right, very good. All right.
Wow, okay. I don't think I sound like Wolfman Jack. I'm sorry to interrupt, but when I rewatch the replay, my voice sounds a little bit piney. And I sound like a Wolfman Jack in a mouse voice.
Nah, you're deeper than the mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
But that's all right. I don't hear an accent until I watch the playback.
Carnivore Muscle says, I like Gruyere.
Yeah.
And Parmesan. I had 12 different cheeses at the party.
Yeah, he has dairy. He's like me. He eats dairy.
Mhm. Papa says, I had terrible IBS for decades. Since 3 weeks into carnivore, my stomach gut issues are completely gone. Here, here. You know, I agree because I had the ulcerative
Excellent.
colitis. The ulcerative colitis is gone. And when I was up in Michigan over at my relatives, my wife's relatives, we were sitting at the table, and the one aunt was saying that she's got diverticulitis, and I said, "Oh, you probably want to." I made the comment that you should probably go low fiber. And she said, "No, the doctor said I need to eat lots of fiber."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Oh, like
That's what's
here I am,
causing your diverticulitis.
she ain't gonna listen to me, and I know that fiber can be an irritant,
Mm-hmm.
and they think that fiber is going to help move stool along, but also that fiber is just going to mean that you're going to continuously have stuff in that colon
Just
at all times, and it's never going to be empty and have a break,
Well,
just have a watch Carnivore.
Yeah.
What it does, yeah, good point. What it does is the fiber expands the colon.
Mm-hmm.
By expanding the colon, when it retracts, it creates the pockets that are diverticulitis. And then you get food trapped in that, and it causes diverticulosis. Or do I have that backwards? I always get those two confused. I have that, and fortunately mine has never flared. But it's all due to the expansion of the colon, due to the fiber. So it is the fiber that is causing it. So you don't want to exasperate the condition by adding more fiber to it. That's just absurd.
Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah,
it's
I
like
tried.
a diabetic, drinking Cokes. It's the same. Why would a diabetic drink a Coke? But
Mhm.
it's the same type deal.
Yeah. Yeah, so I tried to bring up the, ulcerative colitis thing, and I was cured, and tried to hint towards maybe I know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
so, all right. Speaking of Atkins, says Rodney, back in the early days, there was a few other books out there that promoted a very low carb diet when hypoglycemia was found so prevalent. Well, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't a low carb diet. Hypoglycemia would be low blood sugar. Was that prevalent? Or hyperglycemia? That's high blood sugar. I'm not sure there, but I was thinking of other books like Atkins. There was The Zone and Protein Power and the South Beach
South
Diet.
Beach diet.
Yeah. Yeah, those were basically all the same thing, just given another name.
I should have made a book called The Heart Attack Diet.
There you go.
Should have.
You still should. You still should.
Might as well.
Papa says when I eat hard cheese, I become a bricklayer in the bathroom. A bricklayer.
I've never had
okay. Low
constipation
carb
in my
diet.
life.
He corrected himself. Low carb diet. I just had to go further down here.
I've never had constipation in my life.
Papa John's had good cheese when they came out with the peppercini. Oh yeah, that's that we always put the garlic butter in the box and the 2 pepperoncinis. Yeah.
I always hated pizza.
Yeah. The Atkins diet never said to eat lots of fatty meat, high fat, so I wasn't eating high fat and got terrible constipation, which led to straining, hemorrhoids, and surgery. Yeah, that's. I remember him saying that you didn't have to fear. You could have, lobster with
Mhm.
butter, shrimp butter in your
Yep.
shrimp, and I remember him saying that it was okay, but he never emphasized the need to eat fat, like we talk about today. Congratulations on curing that, Bob. You should brag. Yes, that is one of my brags for sure. That's my, of all the things I wanted to cure, that's one of the major ones. Now, if my chronic kidney disease would get better, I'd be over the moon with happiness there. But ulcerative colitis I'm so glad that's gone. All right. I have coworkers, and they bring in food with the sole purpose to get me to cave. Isn't that just wrong? I hate when you're trying to better yourself and those around you are trying to sabotage your efforts. And that happens. It happens all the time. You want to improve your life. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be in diet, diet, exercise, maybe you want to, study something for their career, become more spiritual or whatever, there's always someone there that's trying to undermine your efforts to better yourself. Super frustrating. So,
Well, that's due to fear and jealousy.
Yeah, it was the same way when I started this. I'll go back to that one. When I started this, I was eating only meat, losing weight, and like my wife would come home with ice cream, candy, all kinds of treats, baked goods. Crumble Cookie is a place around here that's really popular, and she would take bites of this stuff in front of me and be like, look at me, I can eat anything I want. And I'm like, so can I. The difference is I don't want that crap.
Exactly.
So that was it at first. But then when my blood work started showing improvements, and my kidney doctor was on board with what I'm doing, and she realized that I had lost a bunch of weight, and she realized it was benefiting me. Now I get support, and she won't let me cheat. She's like, oh, we're gonna have this, but you can't. Because you need to keep your health up. So she's an advocate, and she's on my side now. But at the beginning, she was on the other shoulder wearing red.
My wife was the same exact way. In the beginning, it didn't bother her to sit in front of me and eat whatever she wanted to. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't have this. And I'm like, yeah, I can have anything I want, but it's a matter of, do I want it? And then after being on this diet for like 8 months, she has seen the improvements with my mental health, with just our relationship, and overall, just the positive outlook that comes out of me. She supports me, and she won't let me stray.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Good. When somebody starts eating that food around me, you know what I do, don't you?
What do you do?
I make a certain sound effect.
You quack?
Yeah.
You quack?
Okay. Quack, quack.
How's that duck food? Quack, quack.
Yeah. They say, why are you making quacking noises? I said, well, you're eating duck food. I'm going to make quacking noises. And after a while, they just say, oh, I don't want to eat around him. Because sit there and go, quack, quack. And sometimes they go, which is a noise a Muscovy duck makes. And, oh, would you like some? I said, yeah, I'll give it to the ducks when I go to the canal. And they don't bother me anymore.
I saw your video the other day of how to make carnivore mango chicken. That was cute.
I loved it.
Oh, it's easy. All you need is some chicken, some beef tallow, and you eat that, and then you give the mango to the chickens.
Yep. Carnivore mango chicken. Let the chicken eat the mango, then cook the chicken.
Right.
Papa Carnivore says, everyone is different. You got to do your own N1 experiment on yourself to see what works best for you, right? Yes, true. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That is true. All right. Sandra's coworkers took 4 years to quit asking if she would like some of what they're eating. All right. It's good that they finally caught on. 4 years, they're slow learners. People thought I was weird before carnivore. Now I'm a super weirdo. All right. Join the club. Be proud. Be a proud carnivore.
Now you ain't weird. You're normal now.
Mm-hmm.
You're what you should have always been.
Right. Actually, that's a good point, because when you walk up and down the aisles or you see what other people are eating, and it's like, we went out to breakfast on Sunday. They treated us right, because I installed the tile floor. They took it out for breakfast, and there was a restaurant there downtown, Parma, Michigan, and it was called Gigi's. It was really good, but they had a menu item on the breakfast menu called the Carnivore, and it was 4 scrambled eggs and 2 choices of breakfast meat. So I got bacon and I got sausage patties. and then I added 2 extra over easy eggs to mix in with my scrambled eggs, and then her grandma wanted sausage links, so when they showed up with sausage patties, she gave me one of her sausage patties. So anyway, I ate really good. I got to eat on plan. I didn't deviate that whole weekend, but it's kind of interesting because, like, my wife's got French toast, grandma's got potatoes, someone else has pancakes, the other person has biscuits and gravy, and they get their coffees, and they're dumping sugar in their coffees, and I'm just like, but I used to do all that too. I used to do all that too, and now I look at it like that, to me, is not normal. It used to be my normal, but now I look at it and I'm like, that's not normal, and
Pancakes and corn syrup.
yeah. Like I mentioned, I say this all the time. Like, I don't even see some of that. It doesn't even register in my head as food anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
And you were so used to walking into the restaurant, hunched over, in pain, and loosening your belt after you got done eating.
Right. Oh, I used to have to do that. Take the belt down a notch. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
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 Why would you do that?
Because I ate so much junk food, I had to loosen the belt a notch.
I eat
If
a bunch of
if
meat.
anything, because I was building up pressure inside.
But I eat a bunch of meat. I never loosen the belt.
Well, again, Rick, that we ate the crap, the crud.
We ate food that would get you bloated after a while.
Yeah. I ate 3 pounds of New York strip at work the other day, and I was feeling good. I was bouncing off the walls.
That's a lot of meat.
Yep.
Yeah, but when you eat a pizza and a half, then you get all bloated and you get gassy, and you have to undo the belt buckle.
Oh, definitely. No, that's the stretchy pants there.
And the tryptophan kicks in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it takes hours to make gas.
Nope.
Papa had similar coworkers that would intentionally bring in duck food like donuts and cookies, knowing it would tempt me. Carnivore Muscle's just away from his keyboard, letting us know he actually hasn't fallen asleep yet. That's good. All right.
If they wanted to tempt me, they'd have to bring steaks in there.
Sandra says, I went to Church's Chicken with my dad on Father's Day, his favorite place to eat, and the smell of oil they used was nauseating.
Yes,
Well,
it
I'll tell
is.
you what, that was my favorite chicken growing up. That was a San Antonio thing. Where I'm from San Antonio, and that was Church's Fried Chicken was a San Antonio thing. Boy, I loved it.
They had it here too.
It turned out, I found out after I went carnivore, it wasn't the chicken I liked, it was the fried breading.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is like I used to be able to sit down and eat a chicken breast, but that's because I had barbecue sauce or ranch dressing, to help wash it down. But if you sit down and just try and eat a giant chicken breast without anything else,
can't do it.
It's dry. It's hard. It's hard to finish.
Got to drown it in butter to choke it down.
Yeah. Carnivore Muscle says 184.5 centimeters to 186 centimeters, 5.5 years into carnivore. What's he measuring?
Height.
That's height.
Height?
Yeah, that's about 6 foot.
Okay. All right. So he gained height.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's not hunched over.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I was gonna say I'd love to gain some height.
There's no help there about.
I'm 5'8". I need to totally rick out when it comes to my height.
Yeah, but that's an advantage if you have to go on an airplane.
I haven't measured my height in years, but I'm at that age now where we're supposed to be shrinking.
Yeah.
Probably won't.
Oh yeah, my parents have shrunk. My dad used to be 5'10". He's my height now. My mom, she was 4'10". She's like 4'8". My mom's a legal midget now. She kind of complains about it. Yeah. But Rick's 6'6".
Yep.
It'd be weird to walk around 6'6". Just that perspective would be strange.
For me, it's normal.
Well, I know you're used to it. So, all right, embrace your weirdness. Carnivores are the elites. Not everyone can do what we do. That is true.
That's right.
I'm presumptively here for Rick. Thought he would show. And there's a quack for you.
There you go.
And there's some more quacks for you. All right.
Duckies.
Okay. And there's Quack Senior and Quack Junior.
It's funny. There's people out there that don't know why that they associate me with ducks.
All right. Rained all day, very humid. It was raining here a moment ago.
Hasn't rained here in weeks.
My girlfriend is making a salmon fillet for dinner. I'm so hungry. Oh, that'll be good. I like salmon. You know what I've fallen in love with more, though, recently is steelhead trout.
I like snapper.
Rick is banned from Carrie's channel for now, anyway.
Yep.
Whether he did it or whether one of his moderators did it, right?
That's what I want to find out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if Carrie does show up for a debate. That'll be interesting.
The boys have got beef. Yeah, you know, Carrie comes across to me as a genuine guy. You know, he seems really nice. So I wonder if there's just some misunderstanding, or like you said, someone else clicked the ban button and it wasn't him.
That's what I figure. Because, you know, Carrie knows me. I mean, he couldn't have forgotten about me. I haven't talked to him in 2 years, but still, if he doesn't remember me, then the carnivore diet's not working.
You carnivore outlaw, you.
That's right.
All right, here's a question. Are any of you old enough into carnivore to remember the Food Lies documentary? So I have not watched Food Lies.
I haven't heard of it.
No, me either.
I saw it, but it was years ago.
Food Lies documentary.
It's similar to that Fathead documentary. Milton, what are you doing? I'm getting the paw treatment. What do you want?
I'll have to see where I have to look it up to see where you can maybe see it.
I'm interested
Oh, it's
now.
featuring. It's featuring. It's even got like Sean Baker in there and Brett Scher, Eric Westman, Ben Bickman,
When was it produced?
David Feldman.
I like David Feldman.
I'm trying to see here. I'm at it's foodlies.org is the website for it. Yeah, I'm not sure. So you can pre-order it. So I'll look at it later. The film. Let me click on the film. Pre-order the film. Well, it can't be pre-order because he's out, because it's out. Okay.
I thought it was a group of
that might need updated. So no, that's something we'll have to look into. Food Lies.
I thought it was a group of TV shows, what I remember.
Food Lies. Anybody see the new Animal documentary yet?
Nope.
Not yet.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I will, but I haven't seen it yet.
I have no way to see it.
Okay.
All right. So, Grammy comes back with the answer to the question. So, blood creatinine was 4.1 and urine creatinine was 34.2, a BUN of 73. I have no idea how to calculate all this. My EGFR was the level that came back from the blood work. Okay. So, EGFR. Okay, yeah, so that's your EGFR is calculated using creatinine. So yours was 4.1. When mine was 4.1, my EGFR was 17. My BUN was 68. I'm just looking at an old stat of mine. And I'm 49. So I know they factor age into that, and they probably the sex probably figures into that as well. Remember, EGFR is just an estimate too, so that's why you want to get the cystatin C and yeah, check those other markers like the urine test, 24-hour urine test. That'll be good too. So, all right. Food Lies documentary. A lot of hotel breakfasts have pancake mixed with scrambled eggs. Even some restaurants add it and also makes the eggs fluffy, and they use less eggs per serving. And, I've heard that too. mixing pancake mix with eggs. In fact, there's a restaurant.
Cheaping it out.
I think it's IHOP. If you go get a omelet from IHOP, they actually mix pancake batter with the eggs. And
Ugh.
I found that out one time the server just told me that. I had no clue.
Well, that's
And
just wrong.
I was not happy. So Carnivore Chans, welcome. Glad to have you here.
So
That's how most sell half cows, and it's however you want to cut them up. That goes back. We were showing those Duma Meats websites and talking about buying half a cow here. So all right, let me look through these and bring ourselves current because I'm still half an hour behind. So Brian says grill all year round here in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I don't grill much in the winter because it's hard to keep my grill hot.
All right, I'm gonna share this to give everybody an idea. Let's see. Paste.
Say hi to the feral grandma. Thanks for joining us.
There's the link. Indiegogo. Food Lies. He's not. I don't think he's produced it.
Keto Simple has joined the chat. All right.
Hey.
Good to have you here.
Justin.
I'm familiar with you. I've been over and watched some of your videos before. That's a familiar name there.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, Keto Simple. I think I've also seen you in
Justin.
Dr. Barry's group, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably so.
Yeah. All right.
I've never been in Dr. Barry's group.
Oh, Latro's got 7 cats and a dog.
Hmm.
The dog is my sidekick. Oh, there's the Wolfman Jack comment. I see that now. All right, I'm so finally catching up to that. I am watching on Charger Stellantis' channel. Is that you?
Must be me.
Frugal Prepper. I think I've seen your content also. I believe you had a video about how Carnivore made you biphasic, and it actually has me too. I have a biphasic sleep pattern, having been on Carnivore now for a while. Rock and Keto Amy, hi there. Glad to see you joining us too. And we have Random Hu Tao Simp. So hello, good to have all of you here. These must be people that Rick is siphoning over to us for the evening.
That's right.
All right, good job. CB Carmack says people can't learn to realize doctors don't have a clue about nutrition. Medicine practice doesn't have anything to do with food. And I've come to accept that is absolutely correct.
Yep.
I am butting heads with several doctors about nutrition. So, and then the people who listen to the doctors about nutrition, you got family. Oh, the doctor said this, and it's like, the doctor just knows what he needs to do to treat a symptom with a prescription. And and half the time, or more than half the time, probably most of the time, if you would just eat right, you wouldn't even need to go see him for any of those issues.
Yeah, doctors are not nutritionists. They are drug pushers.
Random Huta Simp says, during the 1,000-year reign of Christ, there is supposed to be no killing for food. So if you are a believer in Christ, meat may not be available when Jesus reigns on earth for 1,000 years. That is something we will have to wait and see. It's a little vague scripturally. I would say the key is to make sure that you're there to see for yourself. All right. You say you hate pizza. I'll never understand that, except for
I agree.
Pacemaker pizza.
That's good pizza. That's a good pizza.
Yeah. So that's what you need to Do you have that on a video? How to make a pacemaker pizza?
No, I haven't because I didn't have the ingredients. But now
Okay.
that somebody sent me enough eggs, I might make one. I think I got some white meat chicken in the freezer.
All right.
It's the only pizza that's deep fried in pure lard,
Mm-hmm.
and it's good. Even my friends that love pizza, the regular stuff, they love my pacemaker pizza.
I'm down. I'll try it.
Yep.
It's the only pizza that doesn't get soggy.
Is it nice and crispy?
Yes.
All right.
The crust stays crispy. It's so full of fat that any moisture isn't going to be able to get in it, you know?
Keto Simple also says pizza should be the ultimate health food if current guidelines were correct. And you know what? I've had people say that back when I was in like Cub Scouts, or back when I was like as a parent participating in some sort of student function, and they ordered a bunch of pizza. I actually heard faculty and other parents say pizza is like the world's perfect food because you've got all 4 food groups in one meal.
I used to try to convince myself of that.
You've got your meat and you've got your veggies. And it's like, oh, absolutely ridiculous. Hello, dog. What's up, dog? Come up here and say hi. Here's my dog. Hey, Willow. Hey, Willow.
Hey, Willow.
Hey.
All got
right.
our bits.
Yeah. Muscovy duck is my favorite cheat meal.
Mm-hmm. Go to the canal and grab one.
All right. The fear of keto, low carb, carnivore is to be expected. People have been sold the idea that meat and fat is bad for going on 100 years. Yeah, no, that's true. That's why people think you're crazy when you tell them you're on a carnivore diet. They're like, oh, what about all that fat?
Cholesterol.
The first question is like, what's your cholesterol like? Like it's like, don't worry about it. All right.
Especially when you haven't been to a doctor in 29 years.
I think it's going to take a whole lot of understanding and patience to get people to understand. Mm-hmm.
They never will.
Yeah. Just a very few listen. Very few. And usually the people that listen are the people who have already hit rock bottom health-wise, and they're desperate. You know, that's what happened to me. You know, I got to this point where I'm like, I need to do something about my weight and my health if it's not too late. Like I got to do something now and pray it's not too late, because it could be too late. You know, I was in my mid to late 40s. And I think a lot of people, they get to that. They hit rock bottom, and then they have the motivation to turn their life around. People become carnivore when the pain of change becomes less than the pain of staying the same. Yeah. That goes right in there. Right in there with exactly what you're saying. Got some good people on here, even at night. Yes, we do. This has been a nice, lively chat. So we're doing good. We got 44 according to StreamYard right now. They're watching. And so it's 10 o'clock on the hour. So I'll just take a moment to say that this is a roundtable discussion, and you are invited. So if you would like to be on the screen with us here, there's a variety of ways to do that. Channel membership's one, but being a member at carnivoretalk.com is free, and we have the link posted there. And tonight we are being generous, and I'm about to post the link in the chat. And so if you have a webcam and a microphone and some courage, this is a good way to get used to live streaming and being on air. If you're a smaller YouTuber, this is great practice. So come join us at the round table here. There's room for 10. We only have 4 on the screen at the moment, so that's room for 6 more. Come join this conversation. We would love to have you.
Alexis. Get up here.
Yeah. And if not, that's okay. We'll keep talking to you in the chat, and please hit that like button. And we'll move along here. I'm thinking of trying strict carnivore for 30 days for the first time. Any suggestions from the experts? This is from Rockin' Keto Amy. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, do it. So I would assume you're keto currently based on your username, and that's good because you're already mostly there then. And if you eat 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day, I'd say keep doing that, and you just want to gradually have less and less veggies and more meat until you're all carnivore. And I would say, yeah, try it for at least 30 days. Some of my suggestions are every day, make your eggs a different way to kind of break up the monotony. So like I like to have scrambled eggs one day, over easy another day. I like to have an omelet another day. And then I'll also switch between bacon one day, sausage another day. And that way I'm not eating the same thing day after day after day. And I do the same thing with dinner too. I'll have ground beef one day. I will have New York strips. That's my favorite steak another day. Sometimes I will have sliced meat seasoned and in a egg life wrap. That'll be like my beef fajita kind of thing with no veggies in it. And then, but you can have cheese and you can have sour cream. And I'm personally not against a little taco seasoning. And then of course there's chicken, particularly chicken thighs, and chicken legs that are going to be fatty. Eat it with the skin. And then trout or salmon, seafood. I like seafood. I'm a big believer in eating the rainbow of meats, not just for the variety, but you'll also round out your nutrition as well. The key would be, just like in keto, it's supposed to be high fat. You don't want to skimp on the fat because that is your energy source in lieu of carbs. But if you're already rocking the keto, Amy, you probably already know that. So that'd be some of my tips. Anybody else have tips for Amy?
Yes. My main tip, and it's what I've been telling a lot of people here lately, is get Sean Baker's book, The Carnivore Diet, and learn actually how to eat carnivore. He puts out a very good book that is very easy to read, and he does a great job of explaining the hows and the whys for doing this. And that's the best advice I can give anybody, is start off knowing exactly how to do it. So many people get into this and they don't really understand it, and they end up doing it wrong, and they get frustrated because things don't work, or they set up expectations that they shouldn't have. So get the book, read it, understand it, and then start doing carnivore. And I think you'll be a lot more successful, and it'll really help you out.
Yeah, and Baker's book is a good suggestion too, because it is written in easy to understand language.
Yes.
So there's some other books out there that can be actually very scientific, very studious, that might be a bit over your head. But Baker's book is actually very nice here.
It's an excellent book.
Yeah. So let's welcome Lexi. I'm sorry, Lexi to the screen, and Dustin from
guys.
Keto Simple.
All right.
Howdy.
Hey, awesome.
All right.
Yeah. So
Good
we're
now.
currently answering this question for Amy here. Any suggestions from the experts about trying strict carnivore for 30 days? So if you have any other anything else to add?
I'm only on
besides
day 21, so I don't
day
have much
21?
advice.
We need a good, like a female's point of view, opinion, because this is a male dominated panel and we
Mhm.
can't relate to women issues. So what would be good for a female to start a carnivore?
I think just making sure you're eating a lot of fat, and this is something I'm grappling with, is not worrying about the weight gain, because I've been on carnivore for 3 weeks now, and oh my gosh, I've gained like 5 pounds, and yes, my mental health has gotten a lot better. So, but it's still hard to accept. But I think I just need to get that out of my head and continue to keep eating high fat with my meals and everything, just because like my psychotic symptoms are almost gone. So, yeah, that's my advice: high fat.
All right. Yeah. Very good. And that's what you mentioned isn't unusual either. We always like to refer back to my zero carb life.
Mm.
What's her name, Jeff?
Kelly?
Dave.
Kelly.
Oh, Kelly Hogan.
Kelly Hogan.
Kelly Hogan initially gained weight on her carnivore diet and didn't start losing for 6 months.
Yeah.
And now she's pencil thin, and
I wish I
very
could
healthy.
gain weight.
Yeah.
The only
And
piece of advice I would give is kick the scale to the curb. Don't worry
I
about
know,
don't
and
you
I
don't want to
wasn't.
you don't want to weigh yourself. All you worry about is how your body feels. This is for keto, rocking keto, but that's the best advice for anyone starting carnivore is don't worry about the scale. It goes by what your body's going to tell you if this is going to make you feel better or not.
Hmm. Yeah,
In
I
conjunction with,
actually. Go
go
ahead.
ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, I actually, for this whole time, I wasn't weighing myself. Like, I don't know if you guys are religious at all, but so I started carnivore June 10th of this year, and the day before, I was telling God, I prayed, I was like, God, I don't mind if I gain like 10 pounds. I just need to be able to stick to this way of eating so I can heal my mental illness. And so I wasn't weighing myself. I was just like, if I gain a little weight, that's okay. So, but I don't know. I think, well, I'd like to hear from you guys. When did you guys start losing weight?
Well, I started losing immediately, but
You did.
I'm a guy and that happens. Women can
Same here.
struggle due to hormonal issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's harder for y'all than it is for us. That's just how it is. Sorry. It's a fact of life. So it's just something you have to deal with. Now, in conjunction with what Kurt was saying, I generally like to advise people not to worry about the weight. Now, I weigh myself every day. I mean, I'm over 2 years into carnivore, and I still like to keep track of my weight. But to me, it's just a fun thing to do. It's just a numbers thing for me. I don't pay attention to it that much. The best metric you can use is a cloth tape measure. Measure your body, because that is what will tell you what's happening, because you can actually gain weight, you can actually stall out on weight and yet still be losing inches. So keep a journal, measure every part of your body, measure your forearms, your bicep, your shoulders, your chest, your neck, your belly, your hips, your thighs, your calves. Write all this down. And then 30 days from now, measure again and see
Mm.
what the difference is. And you'll
Yeah,
be amazed.
I've noticed I haven't measured myself. I think I will, but just to see a month from now how I'm doing. But I have noticed since starting carnivore that my stomach's gotten fluffier, my face has gotten rounder, and it. So I mean, like I said, I'll measure myself because I'm like, who knows? Maybe a couple months from now, I will start losing weight. But I also need to remind myself that it's not about the weight; it's about my
No.
mental health.
And that's what kept Kelly Hogan going strong. She had so many metabolic issues that she was dealing with that when she started seeing the improvement in 30 days of her metabolic condition, this encouraged her to stick with it, whether she lost weight or not, because she was healing. And sometimes I think, and I have no proof of this, but I think that our bodies often have to heal before they become optimal. And your weight loss is getting into optimal. And so I believe some people's bodies just got to go through a lot of healing first.
Hmm.
in line with what Jeff just said, there's a certain community out there that really promotes something that they call priming.
Yeah.
And that's, when they start the carnivore diet, they want you to eat. And I mean, really eat,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever you're hungry, whenever you're, because you're going to have these cravings, satisfy it with meat, eat your 3 meals. If you want a snack, eat meat, and you just, and they even say you'll probably gain weight because the focus is on replenishing your nutrition and that might be missing from your body, and then the adaptation phase. And then you become so satiated that you find yourself eating less, and then the weight starts coming off. So there's a community that actually
Bella
promotes
promotes that.
promotes this priming, which
And,
will result in weight gain. I will just say that, like, you know, as a general rule, you know, you want to eat based on your satiety level, 2 to 3 meals a day, no snacks. You know, so if you find yourself snacking in between meals, then maybe you need to have a bigger meal so that it can
Yep.
actually last you to the next meal. You know, and if you decide you're going to eat twice a day instead of 3 times a day, well, whatever the amount of mass was in those 3 meals, you want to combine those into those 2 meals, and you put that in an intermittent fasting window. The reason for that is every time you eat, when you snack, you're going to raise your insulin, regardless of what you're eating. Yeah, you could be eating meat. You could be eating meat. Protein will have an insulin response, and what you want to do is give your body, time to relax, use up the stuff that you've consumed, maybe even burn some of your own weight. So if you're snacking on the regular, you want to work your way towards not doing that, and just try and stick with your meal times and no snacks. So
I actually don't snack in between meals, thank God. I do make sure I'm eating enough during my meals, especially enough fat. I notice that really satiates me. But today it's like I tried to only have 2 meals. I know it's too early on for me to try that, but I just got so triggered from the weight gain, and I um I did a little tracking a couple days ago, just to see where I was at and why I was gaining weight. I know there's multiple factors to why you can gain weight, but I saw I was eating like 3,000 calories a day, and that really triggered me. And so today I tried to eat like 1,900 calories, which is about my maintenance, and it just didn't work.
No.
I was craving food so bad. I just ate like,
Mhm.
what did I just eat? I had a burger and like a burger patty and like 2 tablespoons of coconut oil and 1 tablespoon of butter. And now I feel better. So, but I don't know.
okay.
The other thing I wanted to mention is this is for Rock and Keto Amy, I think it is. If you're starting out on carnivore, and say you're a coffee drinker or a tea drinker in the morning, and say you do happen to use some kind of sweetener, don't try to give everything up all at once. Don't try to quit sugar or your sweetener and give up vegetables. Slowly, baby steps. Just take your time easing into this. Otherwise, you're going to be overwhelmed mentally, and then it's going to affect you physically.
Yep. And that's why I haven't given up my teaspoon of honey yet, just because I don't want to give up everything yet. But yeah,
That could be holding you back.
maybe.
I don't want to. I hate to say that, but that's pure sugar, and it could cause an insulin spike.
Yep.
And then you need to metabolize that first before you resume burning fat. So that might bump you out of ketosis for a while until the honey's been metabolized, and then you go back into ketosis. But then now it's time for another meal. So just some food for thought. I consume on average 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. So I start off with my breakfast meats and eggs. That's probably 1,000 calories. And then my dinner will be a New York strip. That'll probably be around 800 calories. And then sometime in the middle of the day, I might have lunch. I might just get some beef jerky and some cheese from a gas station if I'm in a hurry, or I might stop at a McDonald's and get my 4 quarter-pound beef patties. And that's that. What I like to try and do to intermittent fast is I'm a tea drinker, and so tea helps me if I wake up and I drink tea, I can drink tea until noon, 1 o'clock, without even having to have breakfast. The tea actually satiates me and stops me from feeling hungry, and then I can eat 2 meals a day.
Mhm.
Who's
So-
who's the handsome bearded gentleman on the panel?
Good evening. My name is Dustin Keto Simple. Let's see. A quick introduction for myself. I have been living this lifestyle keto and intermittently carnivore since 2016. Have a YouTube channel for 5 years. Been consistently posting here for 4. So that's who I am.
Nice to
Yeah.
meet you.
Nice to meet all of you,
yes,
So,
it's a pleasure.
welcome.
except Rick. But one thing that I wanted to say to Amy, I said in the chat, but just to clarify for anybody who may not be able to see all the chat, or one thing I said to Amy, if you're looking to start a new protocol like this, so you know yourself best. So what I always recommend to people is just keep it as simple, affordable, and you'll most likely have zero problem. She's been keto for a long time, so this won't be that big of a stretch for her. And I don't think she's really concerned necessarily about the weight loss at this point, probably just to see what she can optimize with herself by going carnivore for 30 days. So I think, how I always approach it is I just simple as I can, just burger patties, frozen burger patties, whether they're on sale from Walmart or Costco, whatever, eggs, butter, bacon. Just keep it, because I don't like a lot of hassle and fuss. So I just try to make it as brainless and mindless for myself as I can. And that's what I always try to recommend to other people is how can you make it just like, you get up in the morning, if you have coffee, you know how to make your coffee. You don't even think about it anymore. Same thing with making your burger patties, your eggs, whatever. And mix it up, hard-boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, over easy, whatever.
And thus the username, Keto Simple.
Yeah.
Yep, it's in the name. I like it. All right, good
Love
advice. Yeah. CB says I was sitting down to relax and saw the stream. What's that?
I was just going to say, along with keeping it simple, I will say I did medical keto for my mental health for about 8 months. And I was making like all kinds of elaborate meals. And once I started carnivore, like it was so much simpler. I found it easier to stick to than medical keto. Yeah, so that's something I wanted to add.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Rockin' Amy likes bacon, eggs, ground beef, pork belly, and ribeyes. There you go. That's your those are all your
Ain't nothing
primary
wrong
food
with
groups.
It's awesome.
Yeah, very good.
Mhm.
All right. Feral Grandma says, my husband has convinced himself that low-carb alcohols like certain beers or bourbon is okay. I'm wondering if he'll get his out before he suffocates. So anybody still drink?
Nope.
Never
Drink
did.
what? Alcohol?
Yeah.
No. Quit.
I used to be a heavy drinker. Was never an alcoholic. I just drank all the time. And
Alcoholic.
yeah.
So
But I just lost my taste for it. Once I became carnivore, I was a light drinker, but I just lost my taste for it. That's all there is to it.
Amen to that.
about once every month or two, my wife and I will go out for karaoke, and I might have a drink then, but that's it. So, but I used to, man, I've got a shelf of alcohol in the kitchen that I used to attack every day. And I used to have something with dinner. I used to have something, a nightcap right before bed. And I drank all the time. And those bottles are still sitting there 2 years later, haven't been touched. They got dust all over them. I don't even know if they're any good anymore.
I had a bad dream the other day because my wife loves to use goat milk. And I was dreaming, and she had made her coffee. She was making her coffee. And I wanted coffee, but we were out of milk. And I'm like, there's a bottle on the counter. It's Bailey's Irish Cream. And I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to add a little bit of that to my coffee. And then I woke up. I don't even remember drinking it. It just, that's what I'm going to do. And then I woke up, but
For an
that's the first
alcoholic,
time.
that's not a dream, that's a nightmare.
I was gonna say, it's a nightmare.
Well, yeah, scary.
I've never had any like dreams where I'm eating something I shouldn't be eating. That's never happened to me. That would be strange. So, Rock and Keto Amy asks, "Do you all eat cheese on Carnivore?"
I
do.
do
Not anymore.
limitedly.
Yeah, I do. I don't go overboard, but I do use it to complement my dishes.
I made a mistake the other day. I was in a rush on my way to work. I wanted some meat to go with my eggs, so I stopped at McDonald's. Wasn't thinking, ordered three-quarter pounder patties with cheese. Not
Oops.
good.
No,
Not
you
good.
didn't get real cheese.
Diarrhea.
I would
Yep.
like to say, we always talk about, cheese. The question always comes up, do you eat cheese? Can you eat cheese on Carnivore? And one thing we need to always remember is, yes, it can be considered carnivore. Yes, you can eat cheese as long as you can tolerate it. And as long as it's not addictive to you, it should be eaten in moderation. But the key to all of it is make sure it's whole fat cheese. Don't eat the
Yes.
skim crap, because the skim crap, the low fat, all that, you're just
Processed.
getting pure lactose. You're just getting pure sugars because they've taken all the fat out. So stay away from that stuff and make sure it's whole fat, whole milk cheese.
And Keto Simple's comment here too is worthy of consideration, because sometimes people have a sensitivity to cheese. It causes them to stall, or
Exactly.
or maybe you just have some gut disturbances. So yeah, you might fare better on a carnivore diet that's cheese free or dairy free.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're the type of person where some dairy and cheese is just fine. So that's kind of individual. So cheese sensitivity is a thing, or I should say dairy sensitivity is a thing. Even egg sensitivity is a thing. There's some people there's people out there that have a problem with beef because of the histamines. So,
but if you
all
struggle
of
with
those are
losing
rare,
weight, you struggle with medical issues, you struggle with weight gain, then look to your cheese.
For me, I noticed I had to cut out heavy cream. I did yesterday just because I had like addictive behaviors around it.
Exactly.
So that's so I was going to ask you if you did any kind of dairy, and there's another principle too, is don't drink your calories. It's kind of something I believe in. Like don't drink them. Even you tell someone that drinks fruit juice or a Coke not to drink your calories. I think the same thing applies to drinking heavy cream. So you might use that in a recipe to make a sauce or some carnivore ice cream once in a while as a treat, but I wouldn't use it on the regular. Yeah. Lacho says, when I broke carb addiction, I no longer wanted alcohol. It must have wiped out some brain connections in the addict center. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Metabolic Mind actually just posted a video about that today, about the link between ketosis and stopping your addictions.
Yeah. He has to break the snack habit to break the carb habit. Feral Grandma says, go to bed, Jonathan. Ooh, grilled shark steaks. I've never had shark.
It's good stuff.
So she says cheese and flames her a little bit. Latro's met Carrie and Adam several times. Great people. Yeah, like I said, I think there's something amiss here in the Carrie versus Rick saga.
Sounds almost like a wrestling match.
Something's not adding up. So we'll get it figured out here.
Carrie versus Rick.
Stevie says that they like grouper. Yep. I don't think I've ever had grouper either.
It's good fish.
Yeah. They catch it here. I've caught it before. Snapper is better.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
I like that there are so many voices out there, both carnivore and not carnivore. Over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to learn so much. Yeah, I agree. I think it's nice that this is taken off in the sense that not that it's becoming popular. I don't think this will ever be popular, but more and more people are being educated. And so there are people that are listening and they're applying it and they're turning their lives around. So
It's becoming irrelevant.
It's like a word of mouth movement, so like we can't, so a bunch of us have YouTube channels, and that's great and all, but I've probably been most effective just talking to one person at a time, face to face, heart to heart, and really just sitting down one-on-one and explaining it. I think that's probably been more effective than any video I've ever made. So, or maybe just feels that way because you're getting immediate feedback that way versus when you publish a video, it's got a bunch of views, and some comments, but you don't really know the impact it's had as it does when you're talking to someone face to face. I've got the new documentary Animal in my Amazon video library. I will have it soon. I do plan on buying it, torrenting it, getting my hands on it somehow.
Torrent.
I'll buy it. I'm legit.
I don't think it's available on torrent yet. I had to rent it, so.
Yeah.
When they sell it, do they give you a DVD?
If you buy it on Amazon, it's going to be
like
limited
everything
to
else
digital.
now.
So that means if they get to where they don't like it, they can take it away from you.
I'm
That's
going to wait
ridiculous.
and I'm going to wait until it becomes free. And if it don't become free, I'm not missing anything.
There you
From-
go.
Couldn't somebody just
Here-
rent it and record it?
From what I understand, it's a really good video. It's very well put together. But for those of us who have been doing carnivore for a long time, it's not
We
going to
already
teach
know
us anything new.
Mhm.
It's going to be interviewing the same people that we follow day in and day out, saying the same
Mhm.
things that we already know, either
Mhm.
from our own experience or from what they have taught us. So I'm not going to spend money for that when I can get the same thing just by watching YouTube for free.
Mhm.
Well, I don't really think it's for us. I think it's all the same information, like you said, just a different venue. It's polished, it's nice. And what Amy says a little bit further down, that basically saying along the lines that it's there's not a lot of emotional connection in there. There's not a lot of personal stories. I think there's like one real personal story. And that was kind of the way I think they edited it. In my opinion, it was hard to follow what she was talking about.
Mhm.
And so I think it's really more for people outside of our community, the people who aren't,
I agree.
like you said, following all
I
these
agree.
people, watching them day in and day out. They don't know who Dr. Barry is. They don't know who Dr. Chafee is. No, they
Right.
don't know who Sean Baker is.
And that's why I said for us that have been doing this for a long time, that's why I'm not going to watch it unless it becomes free. I just don't need it. But yeah, I'm all for anybody that's not familiar with
Well, I watched
carnivore,
it-
just starting out. It's perfect.
I had somebody I had somebody super chat me the money to watch it. So
Nice.
I went ahead and I was like, because they wanted me to review it. So I went ahead and I did it on my live last week and watched it last weekend. And I mean, it's entertaining to a degree, but but there's just nothing new. I think there was some information about the telomeres and things like that a lot of people may not know. And some of the things about longevity with humans possibly being 120 years and we're passing away at 60, 70, 80 years old, maybe living to 90. So there's a little bit of that information that I don't think is that widespread. But outside of that, I think it's basically a connect the dots kind of overlook of carnivore as a whole. So
Yeah.
Well, I think there are, I have a few of them bookmarked, save for later. And I find any interesting shorts that any of these doctors put out, I save them for later. It's so easy just to compile something like that for
I gotta
if
get
you
going,
want.
guys. I took my melatonin at 8, and now my brain's all mush.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah.
all right.
Good night,
It was
Lexi.
nice
Take care.
meeting you and seeing you.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
nice to meet you. Good to see you.
Have a good night,
Take care.
Lexi. Kurt, keep on with your thought. I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be back.
All right. But I've like I said, I've got them for save for later. I can't see spending even investing my money into this because, like Jeff said, it's people that we've heard. We can see this stuff for free. We already know. And I want to handpick the stuff that I want to introduce people to carnivore to. I've shown some people, that everybody's worried about cholesterol. And my go-to statement for when people mention cholesterol is, why would your liver try to kill you? And they're like, huh? Because your liver makes 80% of the cholesterol in your body. So if cholesterol is bad for you, then maybe you should take your liver out, have it taken out, and see if you can live. That's my first and my intro statement to carnivore. And if they're not interested after that, then I just leave it be. It just gives them some food for thought. But some of the shorts that Dave Mack's been putting out, not shorts, but the short 5 or 7 minute videos lately have been really, really eye catching. It just caught my attention, and it's short, it's sweet, and it gets to the point. And the more he does those, the more the easier the information is for people to digest. Some of these doctors can get too technical, or it might be the air about them, how they convey the message. With Dave Mack, he's just out there. It's like he's presenting something to a 5-year-old. Makes it so easy for everybody to understand.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Sometimes it's like someone like Nick Norwitz. I'll take an article of his and I'll put it through ChatGPT, and I'm like, just give me a rundown of what he's saying. Act like I'm 5, because it's like I can grasp a good amount of it, but I mean, he's an Oxford and Harvard graduated
Exactly.
doctor, so like,
Yeah.
he's got way more going on than I can understand. So
Yeah. I
Right.
follow him, but I find myself zoning out quite a bit.
Yep. Love Nick. Okay, I'm off my pedestal.
Yeah, I watch Nick videos too. They're informative. They're interesting sometimes, So he gets a lot of criticism though from others in the community too. So, Amy, you said you were in Ohio for a meetup. I'm in Ohio. What meetup? I need to know these things.
there was a meetup. It was with it was a safe harbor meetup on Saturday with Andy and Susan. She has a channel. And as I go to say it, my brain goes, nope, you don't need to remember that. It is Milady Laugh a Lot is her channel.
My Lady Laugh a Lot.
Milady, so M-I, like Milady. Here, let me look it up real quick.
Lady Laugh a Lot.
It might be Milady Laugh a Lot. I'm looking at my own stuff. Hold on.
Oh, hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Bart K is another one I love.
Yeah. Bart K. Yeah, Bart K. So Bart K is not too fond of Nick. But I do like Bart K a lot.
I try to get along with everybody, and as long as they're not pushing, and as long as they're not pushing the carb cycling, insulin lowering, we're gonna die type narrative, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as Bart would say, it's just a construct.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
I don't understand how there's be so much beef with all the creators and all the doctors and everything, because not a single one of us knows everything, and we all have to really pay attention to each other, because I mean, like I said, this is where, I mean, realistically, where we're at with carnivore and keto. Yeah, keto's kind of been around since like the turn of the century, 1900s, but that was really formulated for epilepsy, but utilizing it on a daily basis. We're still learning things, utilizing carnivore, we're still learning things. And I think, like I said in that comment, like the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to learn a lot of things. And what we think we know now is going to shift and change. So that's like, I don't understand how we get so up in arms over a lot of the creators, but like whether it's Maria Emmerich or, Sean Baker or any like Nick Norwitz or whoever it might be. I think we have to really embrace each other, not all kumbaya, but I mean, realistically, if our goal truly is to make as many people out there healthy as possible, it's going to take every last one of us, because we understand that 99% of the population probably won't go strict carnivore.
Well,
It's just, I mean, coming from, at least not over our lifetime.
No.
I don't think, I just don't see it happening coming from sad diet of that many people. Now, I could be wrong. And like I said, over the next 5 to 10 years, we will definitely see a shift, but none of us have any understanding or any idea what it's going to look like. So that's why I'm,
No.
and you can ask Rick, in my lives, I want everybody. I don't even care if it's Weight Watchers. If you're trying to better yourself and you're trying to be healthy and you're doing whatever you can do, you're taking those steps to be healthy. Come on, we've got to work together. We have to.
Plant
I
seeds.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. And that's why I constantly try and, even though I call the channel Carnivore Talk, and I definitely promote a meat-based diet, I am not someone who's going to shame someone who does keto, ketovore, or animal-based, or if they choose to be low carb. I consider myself a student of Dr. Berry, so I believe in his proper human diet spectrum, from 0 carb carnivore on one end up to 100 low carbohydrate mammal on the other end. And where you fit on that spectrum is very individualistic, and your DNA could play a role in that. And I firmly believe that. So I sometimes get some flack because I'm actually a fan of Paul Saladino, and I think the guy is brilliant and knows what he's talking about. I don't think his diet is for everybody, by any means, but there is a population of people who do thrive on it. And you can't say that doesn't exist, because there's thousands of people out there doing it that will prove you wrong, So, and my basic philosophy is like, my personal philosophy, not just talking to me here, is I believe in a carnivore centric diet that is consisting of natural single ingredient whole foods, so I will dog on Doritos and Cheetos and honey buns and Skittles and things like that are completely unnatural. But
Disgusting.
if someone wants to come in here on the screen and talk about that they eat fruit and raw honey, they're welcome here. That's fine. I don't care. And I try and emphasize that like, when it comes to dieting and losing weight, you can do that on any diet. Now I do think that certain diets are more optimal.
Yes.
I said in a video that the other day that even a well-crafted vegan diet can work for someone only because of modern technology. I do believe, I do believe you have to supplement, and you can't be a raw vegan. You'll die. Most do, but if you are that compassionate for animals that you just don't want to eat them, you can still live to 80, 90 years old without them. Today's technology allows that to happen. Will you have optimal health? I don't think so, but will you have a measure of health if you do it right? Yeah, probably, so that's just my opinion. So yeah, I agree about, we don't want to be militant carnivores in the same vein as there are militant vegans, that want to shame you for your choices. I don't think we want to have that same kind of mental attitude towards those who don't eat like us. So
Well,
I
I
agree
try
with
and
that
I want to be more
100%.
accepting,
what I was
Because you never
pushing,
know, you're going to get somebody coming in who is day one just starting out, and they come and they put their plate of food down, what they've just eaten or whatever, and somebody jumps all over them because there's like a piece of broccoli or some pepper, and then they're like, you know what, I don't need this, I'm out of here, and then you've lost somebody.
right?
well, my point was I was making was the video where Dr. Soez was pushing the humans were going to have trouble producing insulin because they were eating carnivore diet. Now, nobody, I mean, he was trying to push the narrative because it's similar to, our appendix previously being our, somebody help me here. What's the word?
Cecum.
Cecum.
Oh,
Yeah.
the appendix was
You-
supposedly a long cecum at one time.
Right,
Right.
right. And it's no longer used. And that's probably because we adapted to eating meat, more meat than produce, vegetables, fruits. And that's where he was trying to go with eating carnivore, where I don't agree with that. Okay. People eating diets of fruits, vegetables, whatever, if it works for you, that's fantastic. But don't try to push people away from a certain diet because of your opinions, just because you are in the medical field. Have you done studies on this? No. I can practically guarantee he was pulling this stuff out of thin air. That's my opinion. I am all pro whole foods. If it works for you, that's fantastic. Keep doing it, as long as it keeps us off of the big pharma and the nasty crap that they call food in the center of the store.
Yeah, I
That's
agree
what
with
I
that as
said.
well. I've posed the question before as well, just as like a thought experiment. So as we were coming out of a SAD diet, most of us come from a SAD diet background where I was over 400 pounds. We were never in ketosis. We were never in a ketogenic state, and that is not healthy. So I've always tried to pose the question: if we are in a such, like, say you get into a ketogenic state and you're hardly ever out of ketosis, is there a possibility that could be just as damaging in the long run as well? So I think it's a definite thing to think about. I imagine there'll be studies done as we move the next 5, 10, 15 years. And as we learn more about this, because I don't necessarily think that we'll truly ever get away from secreting insulin. I think that's a natural part of the body, regardless of what we're eating. Even if you're eating straight carnivore, if you smell food, you're probably going to still secrete some insulin because your body goes, I'm about to eat. Let me secrete a little bit of insulin. So it's just a matter of how much.
When you eat lean beef or lean meats, your body it will spike your blood sugar so high that it's going to activate your pancreas to secrete insulin. I know because I had lean meat before. Since doing carnivore, and I had a CGM, because I went lean for a little bit, and it just spiked my glucose. It was in the about 150. So that right there for me is a moot point, because you're correct that regardless of what you eat, even if you smell it, it could, help you secrete insulin. I can practically guarantee whatever you eat, yeah, fruits, vegetables.
Yeah, you should have an insulin response when you eat protein. It won't be as great as eating carbs, but you'll still have some.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't. So I like Dr. Sivas also, and I've heard him talk about this supposed, obviously contested and controversial opinion on insulin suppression, whether it's a thing or not. And I just listen to his side, and then I listen to the other side, and I really don't have much of a comment on it. So I think Dr. Sivas has done a lot of good for a lot of people. So and I think he's worth listening to if you're interested in getting into the low carb or keto sphere of lifestyle. He's going to be a good source of education, even if his opinions on the insulin suppression are incorrect.
I agree.
Like, yeah, like, and I know, like, Bart K and the kid that's a mini Bart K, they've made some videos that are really ragging on him, and they bring up some good
Ed
points.
Goki.
They're saying, yeah, that's him, Ed Goki. They bring up some good points that are worth hearing out. Both of them are very smart, and so just listen to both sides, and again, it's going to come down to your N equals 1. So you try carnivore for a while and see if you thrive. And if for some reason you feel like you need to come off the zero carb end of the proper human diet spectrum and work your way this way a little bit with some carbs, and that's where you feel better, are healthier, and thrive even more, that's fine. That's okay. That's you, and we're all going to be different. So, and I imagine Keto Simple, you probably talk more about a ketogenic diet, or do you talk about carnivore most of the time?
It's a healthy mix, really, because I do like my primary. What I like to do the best is like in that triple B and E spectrum. So, I mean, I think, and I started as keto. That's where my channel name came from. So, but I've transitioned more towards a meat centric side of things. But I still like veggies from time to time. I still like onions and things, and so I'm open to all of it, really. Because like you said, I think there is a necessity for the full spectrum, because you're not going to get everybody, because people are not going to respond well. We understand that females respond a little differently. They need more cyclic. And I know I've seen that firsthand. So, where they need to have like some carb cycling during certain weeks of the month and such to help them transition and help their hormones respond. And men are a little different, but I mean, not everybody. Some men may need that. And I think realistically, us getting to know who we are and really working to dial in how we feel the best is the most important piece of everything that we do here. And not, and I know how I feel my best doing like triple B and E, having, just beef and eggs and fat in my coffee during the day and such, and not eating a lot of junk. I feel my best. But I understand that that's not going to be what helps everybody. So that's why I try to be as open as possible.
Yeah. So I consider myself 97% carnivore, so I still use a little seasonings, and then once in a while we go out to eat, and then I might have, whatever side is going to be keto friendly. If I'm going to cheat, I'm going to cheat with keto. And then I have some fruit trees in the backyard that, the cherries were available 2 weeks ago, and the apples will be available in the end of August. I'll pick from them seasonally. And I think that really does imitate what ancient man had done. You hear a lot, man's been eating meat as long as they've been drinking water and breathing oxygen, is what one famous YouTuber likes to repeat a lot. And you know what? We've also been eating some plants and some fruitage for just as long, so I do think it should be season. I treat it like it's seasonal. I just treat it like it's rare. So like most days of the week, probably most days over a course of a 2-week span, I have a pure carnivore meal: beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. I'll throw in poultry and seafood and stuff like that too. And then, like I said, once in a while, if I go to use an example of a graduation party, you know, and there's nothing to eat there, but there's a fruit tray, I might have some fruit to hold me over so I can have a proper meal, you know. And I'm personally have nothing against that. It doesn't bother my conscience one bit. It doesn't affect my health one bit either. So I'm completely okay. And keto works. You know, I don't think if someone, you know, want to pit keto versus carnivore, I don't think that's really it's a match of one versus the other. I think one's actually just kind of an extension of the other, you know, and because carnivore is a ketogenic diet for the most part.
It's all part of the spectrum.
It's all part of the spectrum. Yeah.
Well, you know, Dustin was talking earlier, you know, about the different influencers and all that, you know, and people getting onto them and everything. The deal with eating a ketogenic diet, which carnivore is there will never be anybody that is an absolute expert on any of this, simply because we are all different with different physiologies. What works for you may not work for me. So I can't say you have to do it this way. You have to do it my way because my way ain't going to work for you. Now, I was one of the fortunate ones that I followed the guidelines of Dr. Berry. And then eventually when I found Baker, I followed his guidelines and I read his book, and everything they said to do worked for me. But that's just me. Now, I haven't experienced all the benefits, but I've experienced the majority of the benefits. But that's just me. You know, every one of you guys has had a totally different experience with this than I have. You know, so none of us can ever be experts. We can only offer our N of one experiments, what's worked for us individually. And somebody else can try. Maybe we can present a different idea for them that may help them and may work. But yeah, the diet, this way of eating will always be experimental and individualistic to the person.
Very well said. All right. Simpson John says, I know Rick, of course, but who are the other three? So if your screen looks like mine, top row, I'm Bob, in the middle is Jeff, and to the right is Kurt. We're from carnivoretalk.com. And then we have Dustin from Keto Simple. And we have obviously Rick, Charger Mopar, and they've got their own channels. I think Rick is restreaming this right now, which we appreciate. And if you're on Carnivore Talk watching this live, make sure you go over to Rick and Dustin's channel and subscribe to their channels as well, and show them your support. Because we're all in this together, which has been our theme now for the last 20 minutes or so. So we're all on the team here. Let's catch up on our chat. Rockin' Keto Amy says she's ketovore and down 110 pounds. That's awesome. That is great.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And wanted to try carnivore for mental clarity and energy. All right. Well, go for it. Go for it. And I hope you see the results that you're hoping you will see. All right. I've noticed that if you give diabetes an inch, it will take a foot.
Yeah, I've promised about that.
You know, that'd be funnier if it wasn't so doggone true.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, Tom, he's actually lost some toes, I believe.
Yeah.
And part of the heel.
And part of the heel. Okay. Yeah. And he's doing pretty good. So Feral Grandma was surprised when the TMJ click went away and the tinnitus went faster. So tinnitus is ringing in the ear. The TMJ, is that like in the jaw? Is that a click in the jaw?
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
TMJ is like it's like a clicking or like a sticking of the jaw. Yeah.
Okay.
And it hurts if you have your mouth open a lot.
Okay.
Well, I sure wish my tinnitus would go away.
Same here.
Yeah. Latcher says, well, here's some gum disease too. And you know what? I will attest to that. So I used to have horrible bleeding gums, and my dentist wanted me go see a specialist who would remove my gums, clean my roots, and then sew my gums back on. And then my teeth would be longer than they were before. And I said, of course, heck no. And then I discovered Carnivore, and I don't have any bleeding gum issues anymore.
A
never
long,
had
long
that
time
either.
ago, that they did that to my mother, and she ended up with false teeth because of it. Ruined her.
Mm.
I've never had any tooth problems.
I've had one root canal only because I used to have a tongue ring when I was a punk in my teens, and I bit down on it and chipped a tooth, and then eventually that one rotted because it was very thin. Latro says 30 days or more to experience the lifting of brain fog and reduction in anxiety. That is true. Who's oh, we lost Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay. He just came back. I said, who's that popping in here?
Yeah, we're having a
Thunderstorm.
storm here right now. So, and I have to stream. I have to do Wi-Fi off of a dish, so bouncing off a tower. So I wouldn't be surprised if I end up losing everybody.
All right. Mama Cracker says she's talking to Amy, have some cooked bacon or sausages ready in the fridge to get past the cravings. It's good advice. So, all right. And I'm going to skip through here. A lot of conversation that's 45 minutes old now here. And it's getting late. It's 11. This is officially our longest live.
Let's go. We're going to compete with Rick.
This is our longest
No one
Monday
can
night
beat my
live
record.
ever. Yeah.
This is the largest panel we've had tonight, too.
Yep.
Yeah. What did we had 6 at one point, right? I think
Yep.
6 is our
Yep.
record. We've never had
Lexus, yeah.
7 yet. We've had 6 a couple times though.
And I put her YouTube handle in here somewhere in the chat, I thought.
Oh, is that the Milady Laugh a Lot?
No, the lady that joined us.
Lexus Jones.
Lexus.
Lexi, yeah. I thought I had it here, but I'm not seeing it now.
Just a second.
My subscriptions. I did subscribe to her recently.
I'll get her.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to her, so I can dig it up.
Yeah, she's only got like 30 subscribers or something like that.
Oh, come on.
Milton.
Where is she? Where is
Dustin's got a good point. A teaspoon. I didn't think about the quantity. A teaspoon is only 6 grams of sugar.
she? No, that ain't it.
Yeah.
So I mean, is it optimal for a lot of people just starting out? No. And it's also, but I also kind of think like when people talk about like Paul Saldino, he surfs like 7 hours a day and he's jacked.
Right.
So he can get away with eating mangoes and all the fruit that he does because
He burns
his
it up.
metabolism isn't like mine.
All right.
All right,
Dang.
here we go. Here's her handle.
Oh, I wonder what that means.
That means good morning.
Does it?
I looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's good morning.
All right. Good morning.
That's for like doing these and have somebody having like, a producer that can kind of do that kind of stuff and like,
Obey the beard. That's funny. So it reminded me of you ever watch the channel Beard Meets Food?
yes,
Yeah.
I like his channel.
Yeah, he's an entertaining guy. There was a time when I, in a past life, meaning just like 5 years ago, I probably could have had a YouTube channel where I was stuffing my face like that. I probably could have ranked up there with him.
If YouTube was a thing back when I was eating like that, I probably would have done the same thing. But I think he's kind of a guy. I think he eats like that and then he fasts for a couple of days.
I imagine they all do. I watch him. I watch a guy named Eli. Then you have Randy Santel and his girlfriend Katrina something.
Yeah, Kilo eats kilos or something like that.
Katrina eats kilos. Yeah. So I got into it for a while. I'm like, oh man, look at them slam this food.
I was in a video with Brandon the Garbage Disposal about a year ago or so. He and a YouTuber that lives in my town were doing a challenge at a place not too far from me, so I went and hung out with them for a little bit.
Nice. Amy says that she drinks socially once in a while too, but feels like trash afterwards. So I guess if I overdrank, I would, but I can have a drink once in a while socially, and I'm not phased. Again, we're talking that's on average once every 2 months, maybe now. Used to be once a month. I had a cousin that hosted an open mic night on the first Tuesday of every month, and we would go down there, just support the arrangement and order some dinner, and I'd have a drink. And I was doing it once a month, but now he doesn't run it anymore. Someone else does. And so my family doesn't go down there a lot. So I stopped going as much. I only go when they go down, and that's hardly ever. I drink on vacation or if there's a celebration or a morning. Yep. So I'll do that too when we go on vacation. So but what I won't do, I will drink a little something, but I won't. I still will not eat grains or have refined sugar, because I've actually made a personal vow that I will never touch grains or refined sugar again unless we're celebrating our wedding anniversary in December. So that's the only time that I'll actually eat grains or sugar. So I'll go throughout the rest of the year. I won't touch it, but I will occasionally have a drink, occasionally have a piece of fruit, occasionally have a vegetable. Carnivore most of the time. And yeah, the only time that I actually deviate from that is usually on the anniversary, because when you make a registration for a place, they usually ask you the reason why. You say your anniversary, and then that meal is like, $95 per person. So you bet I'm going to eat everything on that plate for what I paid for it. And then when it's done, they bring you out like, something with a little candle on it that says happy anniversary. And it's free. Of course it's free, because you just dropped $300. And I usually will have a bite of that too. free. You're so nice. So. I think talking to people in our community is the most powerful. I've had several people come to me and said I've inspired them to change their diet. Very good. Pastor Tanks, Vibe Check Limited and Company, now available lifetime access at $39.99. Anybody know what that is?
I have no idea, but I'm going to go sign up right now. Sounds like a deal.
Let me get my card.
Yum.
Vibe.
We're going to go get Target gift cards. Let's go.
Check. Vibe Check Limited. Nothing even came up. Vibe Check Marketing. I have no idea. That might have. I don't.
So a little what I do when I go streaming, after I create the stream, I go back into YouTube Studio and I do the. Let me give you the actual name of what it is here, so I can tell you. Help avoid some of that stuff. I go into. Stop that. I go into the stream that I just created, and then I go into customization. And I go down to live chat, and then you can pick subscribers only for the chats. And then you can pick like 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute. And that kind of keeps that kind of stuff out.
Okay. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Cause I think that's just spam.
Yeah.
The fact that we eat sharks and gators points squarely at us being apex predators. There's some food for thought.
Yeah, until we're in their environment.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have pools.
I got a nephew that likes to swim with sharks.
Hey, Bob. Bob says hi to Bob. Bob returns hi back to Bob. So Milady laugh a lot. Yeah, I looked up that channel. I did see it. What part of Ohio are you in? I am in, so I live in a city called Stowe, which is between Kent and Akron. That's where I'm at.
Okay, so you're on the northern side. Yeah, this meetup was down towards Cincinnati area.
Okay,
we've done meetups in Columbus, and there is up towards Amy. I know if you're still in the chat, what is it where Carl and Evelyn and everybody live? There's a spot up there. It's towards Toledo. There's a spot up there that we probably may have some meetups at in the near future, and we've had meetups in Elkhart, Indiana, as well. And we do a
Whoa.
meetup here in Central Indiana.
Whoa, I lived like right by Elkhart. That is cool.
Yeah, Toledo would be 2 hours from me, and so would Columbus. Both of those would be achievable for me. Cincinnati is about 5 hours, so that'd be a long drive. So
Yeah,
I want to
Cincinnati's 2 hours
I
from
want
me.
to attend a meetup so I can experience one, because actually I have a long-term goal of hosting one in Northeast Ohio, because there's none around here. So it's something that I want to eventually organize, is meetups in Northeastern Ohio or Northwestern Pennsylvania, in this area. I've had
I'm in-
people that have expressed interest and want me to do so, but I want to attend some first, so I kind of know what they're like and what the expectations are.
We do 2 a year here in Central Indiana. We do one in May, and then we do one. I want to say the next one we have. I got to look at the date. We haven't posted anything about it. We post everything on lowcarbevents.com,
Mm-hmm.
which is run by Chris Bear from Keto Chow and Salty. Let me see. I want to say we're doing it November the 8th, I believe. Saturday, November the 8th. It'll be in Central Indiana, a little bit west of Central Indiana, in a place called AMO, Indiana.
Mm-hmm. All right. Simon says, how long does it actually take to become fat adapted? I've heard 3 to 6 months. Is that true? Could be. It
varies.
Yeah, it varies. So, you'll get into ketosis, and you'll get into, you're burning fat for fuel, as soon as your glycogen stores are emptied out, and you're not consuming carbs, but to where you become adapted to where your body actually prefers fat for energy, because modern nutrition and dietitians will tell you that your body prefers carbs for energy, until that switches and you're fat adapted, and that's what the body really wants, prefers. That could take some time, and but I think you would, you're going to see benefits long before you truly become thoroughly fat adapted.
And I don't know when I became fat adapted. I can't tell you a time or date, but I felt like within a month for me. Because I mean, after a month, I was pretty well locked in, felt good,
Mm-hmm.
no more keto flu, no more diarrhea, and I had the energy, and I felt great. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when it happened, but I would say at least within 30 days for me.
Yeah. So it's going to be very individualistic. It could be a few weeks to a few months,
Mm-hmm.
and in some rare circumstances, maybe up to a year, especially like if you're like a gym bro, or you're very athletic, one of the things you'll notice at first, because this is what a lot of people complain about, is they feel like they take a performance hit, because they used to load up on carbs and hit the gym, and then now they're trying to run on fat, and they don't feel like they can perform as much as they used to be able to. And that's true. That happens, but it does come back as you become fat adapted. So, you might notice a performance hit in the gym for a while, but don't give up hope. Continue to have faith, as someone said in the chat earlier, because that, as you become fat adapted, that performance targets that you were hitting before, you will hit them again, but this time you'll be fat adapted and using fat for energy. But that might take time. You might see that take a little longer if you're that kind of an active individual.
Well, and if it is taking longer for some people, it could be that they're not giving up something in their diet that has carbs. And it could be that they're not eating properly. They're not eating enough fat. They're eating too much protein. There could be several different factors in there for that individual that is preventing them from becoming fully fat adapted until they change that in their diet. Because most people, when they start out on carnivore, do not eat enough food, and they don't eat enough fat. They tend to eat too much protein. And so that can really hinder you becoming fat adapted, I believe.
Yeah. Hello, retired chick carnivore. Who's everyone on the panel? Can't see names here. Let me fix that for you real quick. There we are. So Bob, Kurt, Rick across the top, Jeff, and Dustin on the bottom. So, yep, that's who's on the panel. So you're probably tuning in from either Dustin's channel or Rick's channel, and we thank you for coming in and saying hi. That's who we are. So, and we're here every Monday at 8:00 till whenever. It's 11:30. It looks like it's after 11 today. This is a record for us. So, all right.
Normally we're done by now.
Yeah, usually at 10:30 I put the brakes on it. So, but I'm enjoying tonight's conversation so much. And it was themeless. We came into this with no theme. Usually we come up with a theme and we have an outline to keep the conversation going, but this one's just progressed naturally. It's been very nice.
Been great.
Yeah. All right. Lisa's off to bed. Good night. If you're still here, I'm sure you're not. Good night. And yeah, that is a spam.
Nacht good geschlafen.
So I didn't know Rick was going live. So he's restreaming it tonight. So this is actually going on the Carnivore Talk channel, and it was start at 8. He joins us at 9, and he's here almost every Monday. And he happened to be restreaming at this time, so that's why you've been surprised.
There you go.
Restream it, but I didn't
You've
have
got
a
an
chance to
extra.
put up anything.
You got an extra dose of Rick tonight. You haven't had enough Rick.
If Saturday wasn't bad enough,
Now you got more. And then I heard you say something, Dustin. What was that?
I was like, I would have restreamed it to my channel, but I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough warning to create like a thumbnail and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, if you want to restream it next Monday, you're more than welcome to come back. So come back as much as you want, and join us. Just happened to catch it on YouTube. We have the realtor in Indiana, multitasking. Hello, glad you could tune in. All right.
Welcome.
And yeah, I need a moderator. Block that guy.
Somebody said, Rick Wing Duck, let's get dangerous. There's some dark winged duck right there.
Quack, quack.
You can't eat him, Rick.
Uh-oh. Quack.
Orbital Hub said, I had some strawberries for the first time since last summer. They were intense. Yeah, they were probably the most strawberry tasting strawberries you can remember after not having some for so long. And
So I just got a question for Dustin. Where are you located in Indiana?
I'm kind of like right in central, like right between like Indianapolis, Claremont, and Brownsburg.
You close to Kokomo?
No, Kokomo's like, I don't know, an hour from me or so.
So you're further south.
Yeah, I'm like right in the center of Indiana. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like Indianapolis, yeah.
Close to 31.
Yeah, that's like that splits Indiana right down the middle, like lengthwise. I'm about like 20 minutes from that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm like 8 miles from the Indianapolis 500.
Wow, gotcha. Yeah. Well, maybe next time I'm in the area, I'll drop by.
Yeah.
Feral Grandmother said, semi-retired Bob is Bob. Is that just is she just mentioning another Bob, or was the Bob that was in here?
Semi-retired Bob is, I guess, the retired Bob. That's what everybody knows him by.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Bob that was in here though, that wasn't him, or else it would have said semi-retired Bob.
Yeah.
In his hand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Somebody said they were no longer something else. They were no longer retired something. They are now whatever. So I think that was confusing to somebody.
Yeah, I was confused. I didn't have my specs on, and I'm getting old.
All right. Let's see here. Howdy, beautiful quackers. Just got home. We know where that person comes from.
Quack, quack.
If there's any duck reference,
That's me.
yep. Reports out of southern Florida report a mysterious iguana hunter being pulled by a flotilla of ducks on his water skis.
It's the Quack Army.
He showed up only after a duck silhouette was projected against the night sky. That's funny. Call the duck man. Stowe, Ohio is only 6 hours from me. Yeah, where we're are you and then Dustin?
I'm
Are
not
you,
sure what
are
time
you
it's from.
answering for her? She in Findlay?
No, Findlay is where I was saying that that's like right up by Toledo.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Finley's
Yeah,
up
you're
north.
like 5 hours on the dot from me.
5 hours on the dot?
Yeah, like 5 hours and a minute. Like
Mhm.
I put it in there somewhere.
Yeah, you said Central Indiana. I see there.
Yep.
There. Rick Wing Duck. Let's get dangerous. All right.
Oh,
Kokomo is between Dustin and up north where I'm at.
Yeah, and she's an Elkhart.
Oh, here's
Oh,
Bob.
wow. Yeah, I know where Elkhart is.
This Bob says he's semi as well. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is Bob. Duh.
You know who that is? That's Old Hilly.
That's
Yeah.
Old Hilly. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's funny because you know in the forum you remember people by their usernames.
Right.
Yeah. And,
Well, I just happened to spot his avatar there and saw the catfish, so I know who it was.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, Bob, you should jump on in here. So I posted a link up above. I'll post it again. But I am going to say I'm going to bail in about 9 minutes. It'll be 11:30 for me. And I've had it.
I'm with you.
I'm ready
I'm
for
right
bed.
there.
All right.
Just when you're
It's
done,
been a
we're
good
done. I
talk.
suppose.
Oh, you know what? I've streamed so long that Facebook cut us off.
Yeah.
I just
Oh, wow.
I stopped streaming to Facebook because they're only going to keep the streams for 30 days, which means you can't grow a following and have them
Right.
go back and watch your stuff. So I started streaming to Rumble instead.
good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter X on here. Just because those are the first three that came to my mind. I do have an audience that I've got a couple likes and I had some viewers and comments from Facebook today, but I did notice that the other day I got a message saying that my first live from like 6 weeks ago was going to be deleted in 30 days. So I'm like, what's
Yep.
the point?
Yeah,
What's
there's
the
no
point
real
of that?
point there. Yeah.
I
I
told you,
usually
go to
do-
Rumble.
Yeah, I do YouTube, X, and Rumble. Rumble's a little harder to set up. It's not like just kind of click. You've got to go in and you got to create it in Rumble as well. And if you're not a subscription member or whatever, you can't do it more than like a day and a half, 2 days before the stream, setting it up, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But when you then I use a different I use EV Mux, but I imagine using StreamYard would be the same. You go in, you put your stream key and all that stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm going to check into EV Mux because it looks like it's cheaper and you get more on-screen participants. So
yeah,
I
and
think-
it's way more customization. If you want to go take a look at like my Sunday lives, you can see what they look like. That's using EV Mux, like some of the newer ones. That you can get as fancy and as detailed as you want.
Yeah, I was just looking at price comparisons, and it looks like EV Mux does the same thing, but it's a much better deal. Because I'm at 10 on-screen participants, no backstage, and stream to 3 platforms, and that's $45 a month.
Yeah, I started on StreamYard, then they switched the price, and I had to find something else.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is like some of there's better storage on StreamYard. You get more lives than you do with EV Mux. I have to go in and download them and delete them a lot more often. But I mean, it's still half the price.
Right. Oh, then unless you do some post-stream editing, it's on YouTube now, so we kind of don't need it sitting over there in your storage.
I just download it and I back it up just in case something ever happens with YouTube and they kill my channel or whatever. But
yeah. So that's I think EV Mux. I was talking to Tom at Target Prime Rib. He uses both, but he uses EV Mux during the day. He has a chew the fat thing every day at 11, and he doesn't pay for it. He just uses the free versions of them. And but that's the first I had heard of it, so I looked it up and I'm like, man, this looks like a much better deal. But for some reason, StreamYard that's all you ever hear. It seems like everybody uses StreamYard, and everybody.
Well, the funny thing is, when I went to cancel my StreamYard, they wanted to lower the price.
Oh,
amazing!
But I had already started paying for EV Mux, so I was like, well, you kind of lost me. You shouldn't have raised it. I mean, you shouldn't have. I mean, if they would have, I've used it since like 2000, well, like 2021, and it was $25. And if it like after 5 years or whatever, they raised it like $5, I'd have been like, cool. Cost of living, everything's gonna kind of go up a little bit by little bit, right? But they went from $25 to $45, and I'm like,
nope,
that's not comparable.
Yeah, and I think the even the amount of destinations you can stream to. EV Mux.
I can't remember how many it lets you. I do 3. Because Instagram doesn't like, you can't mute your stream on Instagram, so you get all this awful feedback.
Oh yeah, I heard it's difficult to stream to Instagram. I heard that's another one where you got to actually go to Instagram and start it up manually. I don't know if that's
you
true
have
or
a
not.
second device to do it with, otherwise you can't mute it. It's just a pain.
So yeah, so EV Mux here, like the basic, $19 a month, 12 on-screen participants, unlimited streams, and stream to 4 destinations. So right away, I get an extra destination, and I get 12 participants instead of 10. And then
that's I think $20 if you're paying annually, right?
Yeah, if you're paying annually, yeah. Let me hit the toggle. Yeah. If I go monthly, it's 25. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so the 49 monthly or 39 if it's annual, you get. Well, then you can do a pre-recorded stream. They don't allow that on their basic one. But you can have 12, say the same thing, 12 on-screen participants, multiple cameras. I don't need that anyway. But you can multi-stream to 9 destinations. So I just can't think of 9 destinations.
I mean, you don't need even if you have multi-camera, you don't really need. You just get a switcher, and you can switch between, and it still thinks you have one camera. No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So I could go from $45 a month down to $19 a month, and gain an extra destination. So it seems like a no-brainer.
There is a learning curve. Give yourself about 2 weeks to kind of get it all figured out. And I'll help you too if you have any questions, but it took me a little while to figure some of that stuff out, like how to figure out where your super chats are and stuff. There's just a lot of little things that's different.
All right, gentlemen, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good night.
Yep. Good to meet you.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go too. It's
all right.
bedtime. All right. So yeah, thank you. Thank you everybody for joining. Dustin from Keto Simple, Rick from Charger Mopar, Jeff, Kurt, as usual. If you want to talk to us throughout the week, come over to carnivoretalk.com. That's the forum where we help people every day of the week with their carnivore type questions. And we'll see you there. And we'll see you next Monday. So again, thank you and have a good night. And I'm going to end the stream. And if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome to.